Welcome back to Mind Trick Media. Today we're talking about the second part of Revenge of the Sith, and we're starting at the scene at Utapau, where he and our beloved Obi-Wan Kenobi engages General Grievous. Impressions? Give me your best. Not of Grievous, of Kenobi.
I was assuming. And a lot of coughing.
I can give you a good impression of Grievous right now.
General Kenobi.
I feel like I can do a better
that was terrible.
Older Obi-Wan than a younger Obi-Wan, but
Hello there. No, that's terrible.
Hello there.
He sounded Scottish.
it was really funny. We were watching the movie, and he was like, "Oh, this is the part where he says it."
Hello there.
It was funny.
It's the way he rolls the TH together. I can't get. Hello there. I can't get it. This episode's going to be 4 hours. Hello there.
I know you haven't seen it yet, but I sent you a TikTok where it's like each time Obi-Wan says hello there, and it's from the third movie, the fourth movie, and then the Kenobi series. And it's really funny because you have young Obi-Wan and then older Obi-Wan, and then in the Kenobi series,
Master!
He's like in between the ages, and he tries to sound like both of them combined. And it's actually really great. I think it was perfect how Ewan McGregor did it. But anyways.
Hello there.
Back to Utapau. For once, General Grievous not being a bitch, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take on Obi-Wan." It was kind of surprising.
I mean, he does have an army around him.
I mean, it's true, but like at the same time, like it's interesting that he was like, "You know what? Fuck you guys, back away."
Well, he still kind of runs away.
I mean, yeah,
until the very end.
Well, I mean, he has 4 arms. Which, how'd you feel about that? What'd you think? It was like, how the fuck's Obi-Wan gonna fucking fight against that when his wrists are spinning in circles?
I mean, you kind of just. It was kind of like a main character theory in my head of like, there's no way this man's gonna die right now. So that kind of ruined it in some way. But it was cool that he could beat someone's ass with 4 arms.
Well, it's funny you say that because about like 30 minutes from now in the movie, you're sitting here like, oh shit, main character doesn't mean anything anymore. Granted, the main characters still live, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah. It kind of just took that away. But right. Yeah, I mean, Grievous does end up fleeing whenever he cuts 2 of his 4 arms off. I mean, like at that point, I'd be like, oh shit, like
now it's just an even fight. Technically, like you both have 2 arms.
That's still not an even fight. He's fighting against a cyborg.
A cyborg spider with 6 limbs. Yeah. Add to my collection.
It's also funny.
Are those lightsabers that he's stolen from people, like from killing them?
Those are all Jedi's lightsabers that he's killed.
Well, it's also funny
budget cuts. All of those lightsabers are just main characters' lightsabers.
He had an Obi-Wan one and an Anakin one that he lost, so it was kind of funny.
I love the memes of him where it like shows random Jedi dying. Like people have like clips where they post like I know one of them that's funny is like Mace Windu dying. It shows like it chop his arm off and flies out, and you just see General Grievous run through the middle of the office and jump over the ledge. He's like, my collection.
Or it's like in the 9th movie. I know you haven't seen it yet, but well. Anyways,
yep. Spoilers.
When Kylo throws the lightsaber into the water, and it shows Grievous, and he like runs and dives into the water.
I like the one where because someone edited after that words where he runs into Kylo and knocks him off the edge too.
Well, it'll be funny because he'll be like, and then he's like running, and then he jumps into the water.
Yeah. All right, we should talk about the movie. So obviously, like that's a famous scene, and then there's the chase scene. That little like I don't even know what it's called, but that like motorcycle thing that he drives is awesome.
The motorcycle speeder.
Yeah, do you know that that's like I'm pretty sure based off of a real thing? Like
I feel like I've seen that.
They had those in like the early 1900s. Like they were like bicycles that kind of looked like that. Like you would I think they might have had motors on them, I don't know, but you like sat down and it was a sphere around you and you would go and that thing would just roll I think they're like it's 100% based off of that.
I feel like that was in like Transformers or something too, those things.
wouldn't surprise me.
That's where I feel like I've seen it. I didn't think it was from the early 1900s. But
No, like there's a look it up, but like I'll show you afterwards. Like
Okay.
there's a video of people like yeah. All right, so get to where he finally catches him and they're on that landing pad. What did you feel about that scene?
the part where he kills him, basically.
Yeah.
The fist fight scene.
I thought it was funny because he tries to Obi-Wan tries to kick him in the shin or something like that, and he's like, "Ah, shit!" And then, I mean, he shot him, so.
The funniest part of the scene to me is where he hits him with the spear thingy, and then he backhands Obi-Wan, and he's like, ugh, when he hits the ship. It's really
my
funny.
favorite part of the scene is after he's done, he gets back up and he throws the blaster. It's like so uncivilized. It's such like a
That's such a
weird
Scottish,
one-liner that Obi-Wan has. And I'm like, this was unnecessary, but it's awesome. So that happens, and then basically we, in or around there, jump back to Anakin. Do you want to start with that scene?
Yeah, so Anakin basically goes to the Chancellor on Mace Windu's command to go tell him that he's engaged General Grievous. Well, obviously, we've jumped back and forth when you're watching the movie. So this is before he died. But he went and told him that he engaged General Grievous, and he was upset because he feels like he should have been with him. I know they weren't made in the same order, but if you watch the Clone Wars and stuff like that, Anakin and Obi-Wan go on a lot of missions together. They do stuff together all the time, like Jedi and or Master and Padawan are supposed to do. Or even at that point, he's a knight, but still still his master. They go on missions together. He was just upset that he wasn't there with him, wasn't able to help him, and oh boy, did the cards turn during this scene, because Palpatine's like, oh, I know. You're very powerful.
Anakin, my boy. I told you to spy on me.
But he reveals himself. That right then and there. He's just like, I can.
He came out.
Yeah, he came out. He was telling Anakin. He was being so manipulative, like he is with his words. Not even necessarily using the Force. He's just manipulative. Jesus. With how he talks.
Manipulative.
Yeah. Well,
I do that a lot.
We're not
too.
going to skip over that. Manipulative. There you go.
Okay. Anyways, and he starts feeding Anakin all these fucking lies and shit like that. Oh, I can help you save your wife from certain death. And then obviously he's like, use my knowledge. And then Anakin's like, well, what the hell? How did you? Well, obviously you knew.
Every time I rewatch that scene, I'm just like, you already pulled your lightsaber out. Just kill him. Just please kill him this once.
How'd you feel about the scene with everything going on where he's saying all these things to Anakin that we know aren't true watching it, but Anakin's just believing all of this stuff that he's saying?
Does he know they're not true?
I mean,
In the moment.
I feel like I don't know. Tell us how you felt about everything happening.
I think, I understand Anakin sort of, and I mean, we talked about this in the other episodes, but, from where he started and to where he is now, I feel like everything that led up to that point, it was very strategic for Palpatine to be doing that at that exact moment from everything that he knows, obviously, that went on in Anakin's life and with him becoming a Council member and not being a master. It's all tied into this, I think. So I think he just used Anakin against himself.
I mean, he does. And I mean, the first conversation we get to see him have earlier in the movie, he basically says to him, remember what you told me about your oh no, it's in the Battle of Coruscant when he's like, remember what you told me about your mother and the Sand People. He knows that he went and killed all those people. He's one of the only people that knows that. Obviously, I think Yoda might know it to a degree, because we get to hear Qui-Gon talk to Yoda when he's meditating, and knows that in the second movie, Anakin did something horrible. I don't know if he knows directly what it is, but he knows that he did something horrible. But Palpatine knows all this shit, and he just uses everything against Anakin. He uses Anakin against Anakin. That was a great way to put it. He uses all of his tragic life events to turn it on him and be like, hey, man.
You're already there, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, are you waiting for my opinion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you see this, like, and I think this was, like, a scene that, like, obviously sticks out, too, because, like, in that moment, Anakin's like, I've told the Lord of the Sith, the last of the line, everything about me, the chosen one. And he's been using me. And in this moment, he, like, is like, oh my God, like, Mace Windu and Yoda were right. Like,
and I really think it mentally tears him apart during this scene as well, because when he's like, are you going to kill me? Anakin, like, very angrily is like, I would certainly like to, because he's like, you were supposed to be like my dad in all of this, and here you are being this horrible human being.
Right.
That I can't even imagine what you've done, what you plan to do. And he's just so mentally torn apart, being like, this guy can help me, but at the same time, he's such a bad guy. And it just wrecked Anakin.
So how do you think, like, how do you go from that moment to when, obviously, like, I don't know how far we're jumping when Mace Windu dies, but, like, how does he go to then, like, going to his side of... Is it because of Mace Windu?
So I think, okay, well, we can jump right into that because we already talked about all of Utapau. So that basically is... because
we gotta talk about the in-between those two scenes.
Well, the in-between the two scenes is when he goes to tell Mace Windu...
Yeah.
Right. No, I know. I was just saying we don't need to talk about that because he goes to Mace Windu, and they know that Grievous was just destroyed, and now it's time to go basically tell the Chancellor he has to give up his emergency powers, right? And it's very interesting because there's a lot of theories behind it. There's no direct like answer for it, but he sends him to the Jedi Council chambers and tells him to wait for them to return. And a lot of the theory behind that is he finally trusted Anakin, and once they did what they needed to do, he was going to come back and make him the rank of master because he did what he was supposed to do with Palpatine. He listened to all their commands. He's always been like the errand boy for them. He finally was like, we're going to reward you. That's like the theory behind it.
And even before this, like, something with Mace Windu, which I really like about his character in that scene is that, like, even he realizes, like, hey, we've let Anakin kind of like compromise himself because we put him on this mission because we thought we could get closer to Sidious, even though Sidious has always been looking over our shoulder. And like his like when Anakin like gets out that like and explains that he like Palpatine's the Sith Lord, he's the Sidious that they're looking for. Just like the way Mace Windu reacts to that, he's like, a Sith Lord, and it's like dude, it just like it shatters.
Yeah, it like tears the veil of like.
I mean, Mace Windu, like they feel like they knew this like this whole time, but then even him just saying it out loud, he just like almost like shits himself.
It's like having the last puzzle piece, but not knowing which way to flip.
It's like this is actually real right now. Like, oh my God, like it's been right there the whole time, and it was crazy to see him because his eyes are just like massive in the scene.
This is the scene where the most critical mistake of the Jedi happens.
Is it they leave him?
The critical mistake that Obi-Wan or that Mace Windu does not take qualified enough Jedi with him.
Yeah, and then also we need to talk about that. But do you think events could have been different if Anakin was there to help arrest him?
I think Anakin should not have been there. I think that was the right call, but I think it was the wrong call that Mace Windu went when he did.
Well, the problem was he went with the Jedi that he went with because those were the only people left at Coruscant. Everybody was gone. Yoda was gone. Obi-Wan was gone. He was at Utapau. Right. Like all these people were just gone, and it was like strategic by Palpatine. Also, like he had these because like he's in charge of everything. He had battles set up to where everybody would be everywhere, to where limited people were at the temple when he was ready for this stuff to go down. Like, Palpatine had this planned. Like, he's like, I moved the knight to where I can just take out the queen. You know what I mean? And, yeah, so we get into where he goes to arrest Palpatine, right? Obviously, we get to see 2 Jedi, well, all 3 of them, but 2 Jedi die in an instant. I didn't tell you an explanation for that. There technically is. He used the Force ability. It's Force Scream. When he screamed, when he like dove at them, that was actually a Force ability that temporarily cuts people off from the Force. Okay. So that's why he killed the 2 of them instantly, because they were just normal people with a lightsaber at that point.
We should probably explain that ability better.
I mean, you can if you want to.
I mean, it's only ever been used in canon one other time.
Well, I don't think it's canon. I think the 2D animation? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I guess that counts too, but it's in the Clone Wars.
I don't remember it in the
Anakin
Clone Wars.
uses it against Dooku.
In the Clone Wars?
I'm pretty sure.
He uses it in the 2D animation.
No, he does,
Ventress.
because it's Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting Dooku.
I don't remember that.
Because Dooku has the upper hand and Anakin uses
I did know
Force
Anakin had
Screech,
it.
and because it scares the fuck out of Dooku.
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, he's terrified, and Dooku books it after that.
I would too.
I'm
But,
pretty sure that's in the Clone Wars.
I know he does it in the 2D animation against Ventress. And I'm not sure if the 2D animation's canon
That
or
scene's
Legends.
been blowing up recently. I don't know.
Right.
It's been everywhere
Yeah,
recently.
It's interesting. I think it's really good. And it leads up to the events of the 3rd movie, like to the Battle of Coruscant. It's actually really cool, but I don't know if it's canon or not, to be honest. I feel like it's...
I mean, it's the same thing as like Force Speed. Like
Yeah.
that's used in the first movie, but it's never talked about.
Right. So anyways, he did that, which is why the 2 of them died in an instant. And it's also kind of fucked, because when he starts... it is. Because when he starts the fight with Mace Windu and Kit Fisto, and Kit Fisto dies in like another second, it's because Kit Fisto realized if Mace Windu was the only legitimate chance that they had against Sidious, he let himself die to where he was not in Mace Windu's way.
Because
Because
explain how you know that.
it's in the
that seems
novelization.
Well, they don't know that.
Well, okay, it's in the
I don't know
novelization.
that either.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I mean, I'm just explaining it. But it's in the novelization. They state
That
that.
just seems stupid to me that he was like, I'm gonna let myself die and be like instead of 2-on-1. But let's go ahead.
Well, because 2-on-1's not always the best.
Well, okay, so
I'm
take
sure,
take
right, I
take
wanna
two
know
on
why,
take
right.
2-on-1 for example in the first movie where we talked about how Obi-Wan's with Maul right at that moment. Qui-Gon's back a little bit, and Qui-Gon has an open shot to Darth Maul's side. But if he were to take that shot, the other blade would have cut Obi-Wan in half. So he decides to block the blade instead of take the kill. And also, they're in the Jedi way, you're not supposed to take the kill. Granted, in this situation, I don't know what the hell they would have done because, like, it's Sidious. But in the novelization, Kit Fisto has, like, that second of time in between the other 2 people die to where he dies, where he's like, I'm going to be a problem in this fight. And he lets himself die because of it.
Because he knew at a given moment, if he got into trouble, Mace Windu would try to protect him.
Right, and that's also...
Which would leave Mace Windu vulnerable.
Right, and that's also why he didn't, like, just leave the fight, because also, like, you never know what Sidious is capable of, so it's like, okay, if I just walk over to the side of the room, he might force choke him or something, and then, like he said, it splits Mace Windu's focus. So, he lets himself die in that scene.
Which, honestly, like, that's a thing, too. Like, if Kit Fisto would have backed himself away from that fight, I feel like we would have seen a lot of personality from Mace Windu if he were to, say, start force choking him, if Mace Windu would have actually, this is fucked up, but, like, helped.
Well, see, the thing about it is I feel like he wouldn't have, because I feel like Mace Windu would have been the guy that's like, I need to stay focused.
Yeah, but I think that's how he wants us to think about him. But that's where the novelization and the fan theories come in of, I mean, Mace Windu just did, like, a very humble and honest thing for Anakin that we think he's going to do, because he wants to keep Anakin, the chosen one, out of the Emperor's hands, or the Chancellor's hands.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want Anakin to die because he don't want him to be a part of the fight at all. Because even if Mace Windu can't beat him, Anakin's still alive.
Right. Well, it's also very interesting, and I guess we can talk about it right now. But the prophecy of the chosen one. I don't know if you want to take a moment to look it up real quick so you can read it, because I want Ryan to fully, and the fans, to fully understand. I know, but I just want it to be like in this moment as well.
Keep talking while I try to find it.
But Mace Windu was actually, like, we talked about how he was sketchy with the Chosen One prophecy, with him being possibly the Chosen One and this and that and all this other things. But there was a point in time where actually he was like the number one believer in the Chosen One prophecy, because with what Tyler is getting ready to read, he realizes that Jedi have to die for this to come true. Do you have it pulled up?
No, I keep talking.
I don't know what else to talk about. We'll just cut this out.
No, we could keep talking.
I don't know if this is getting cut out. I have a question that might.
No, we just go.
I mean, we'll cut this
dude,
2 seconds,
we're
but
live.
yeah.
It's whatever.
Okay, I'm just so like I don't understand how Anakin went from telling them that, like Mace Windu that, to then turning on Mace Windu. Like, how did so in that time period? What the fuck is going on? With
Okay,
Anakin?
so when he's in
I don't
the
even know if that was in the fucking microphone. Did you hear me say that? Okay, good.
okay, so with what you're saying, when he was in the Jedi Council chambers,
Right.
you can hear Sidious talking to him. Like, if you go back and watch it again, I don't know if you heard it when you watched it the first time. Sidious is talking to Anakin, and you get to hear him say.
Is that when he's looking at
when he looks
Padme?
out the window?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He's talking to him, and basically he's like, you know, they're gonna destroy me. You know, I'm the only chance you have to save Padme. He's literally talking to him during that scene.
Okay, I guess I just missed that then.
Yeah.
Because I was like, how did we get from you're telling on him to like I'm gonna join your side?
No, he's talking to him during. That's why he starts crying.
Okay.
Because he's telling him that, and he's realizing it too. I mean, if you think about it, he lost his mom in the Force vision, right? Like, he saw that happen, and then it happens. He's seeing the same thing with Padme, and he has no other option that he knows that he thinks is possible to work other than Sidious. So if you found it.
So the Chosen One prophecy is like a lot longer than what they explain. So the full prophecy is.
Well, that also goes back to the point that a lot of the Jedi don't understand the Chosen One prophecy, because they briefly talk about it in the movie, and it's because nobody studies it anymore. They aren't 100% sure of what's supposed to happen. And we even get to hear Yoda say in the third movie, he's like, a prophecy misread could have been. Because with what he's... I mean, that's how he says it. I'm quoting the movie.
A prophecy misread could have been.
But, yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Only through sacrifice of many Jedi will the Order cleanse the sin done to the Nameless. The danger of the past is not past, but sleeps in an egg. When the egg cracks, it will threaten the galaxy entire. When the Force itself sickens, past and future must split and combine. A chosen one shall come, born of no father, and through him the ultimate balance in the Force be restored.
Only through the destruction of many Jedi. Because it goes back... Whatever. I mean...
Because it's not... That's the thing,
it's a sacrifice
too.
In the name of the Force.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
Like, part of the thing with, like, we're obviously, like, Vader's a bad person, but he really does think that the cleansing is, like, ritualistic to basically what Palpatine is saying to be true. So he gets to the point where Order 66 happens, which we haven't got to yet, but he believes that's the only way that he can fulfill his power now. He doesn't think, okay, I killed Mace Windu, he already killed these other Jedi, it's done. Like, I'm the chosen one and everything will be fine if we just go somewhere. Like, he doesn't think that. He thinks that, oh, now I have to kill all of them to cleanse them.
Right. But anyways, back to the story. The reason Mace Windu was one of the bigger believers in that, and in my mind, I guess it's not really said. You think about it, if Mace Windu knows that, Qui-Gon probably knows that because he studied them with Dooku. I feel like they went through the prophecies very well. I think Yoda's definitely seen the prophecy. And if I had to guess, a lot of the other big name Jedi we get, because there's also still a lot of Jedi that we don't get talked about a lot, and obviously the movies don't go into detail for a lot of the other Jedis, but we get to see Jedis throughout the Clone Wars that get a little bit more of a spotlight than what they do in the movies and stuff, but not everybody, obviously. So somebody like Kit Fisto, I also think could have known the same thing, and he was just completely okay with dying, because he's like, this needs to happen. It helps Mace Windu, and it helps move the prophecy forward.
The will of the Force is worth the sacrifice.
Yeah.
I'm a poet.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so,
What'd you think of the lightsaber fight?
Between Mace Windu
Yeah.
and it was a little cringy because Sidious's faces are fucking stupid, but other than that, it was. I just like. I don't remember the full fight. I remember more of like just the last part where he's like, "Oh, I'm so weak," and then, then it goes into Mace Windu and Anakin talking to each other.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't know why Mace Windu would have even stopped. Like, I wouldn't have given a shit of what Anakin is telling me at all if I'm in a fight with someone that we think is a Sith Lord, right? Like, I would have just killed. Like, you just kill him. Like, okay, who cares if Anakin thinks he should go to the Senate? Like, we obviously know he's a Sith Lord.
I still think, because, like, when Anakin gets in there, which, canon, when Anakin gets in there, he's still, he's blasting lightning, and Mace Windu's blocking it, and that's what's starting to, like, hit him and stuff. Mm-hmm. I still think even if Mace Windu would have instantly, like, tried to slash him, I think Anakin would have just force pushed him out the window.
Yeah, I told you, because you're like, when did he make the decision? When we've seen the movie twice already, and I can't remember what it's being compared to, but like the fallen angel thing that George Lucas like really dove into with Anakin's character. Have you never seen
the painting?
That stuff? Yeah.
Okay.
So
you didn't explain that very well.
I didn't know what to say to be
I know what you're talking about. Right. No one else.
I mean, do you know what it's actually called?
I forget.
Yeah, I forget too. Damn.
They call it the fallen angel. I mean, it looks like.
Anyway,
it is creepy, the resemblance.
There's a lot.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, he showed.
Well, I did show it to him. So we can put up some pictures. There's like a picture. I'll send it to you, Elijah. But there's a lot of comparisons that George Lucas did with Anakin to this fallen angel. And during the one scene where he's doing the Force lightning, you see the face. He changes his facial expression, and that was the moment where he decided that it was not like he was with Sidious at that point.
I mean, that's part of it too. Like I like honestly, maybe if Mace Windu just slashed, but I know part of it was like Mace Windu's like he's too dangerous to be kept alive, and Anakin's like, I need him. That's not the Jedi way, and it's like it's kind of weird because it's in that all of a sudden moment. It's like, when the fuck did Anakin care about that?
Right. It's true, but also at the same time,
yeah, based off of his past is what you're
right,
saying.
Based off his past, yeah, but at the same time, like, he wasn't wrong. But
no, he's wrong.
I mean, he wasn't.
No, he was wrong.
He wasn't wrong in the aspect of this isn't the Jedi way, but at the same time, given the circumstances, it is the wrong.
Do you know why it's wrong though?
Yeah, because he needs to kill Sidious. What do you mean?
No.
Well, I mean, yeah.
The greater meaning of why it's wrong. Because Palpatine would rather of Mace Windu killed him than taken him back to be prosecuted.
Well, yeah.
And part of the well, honestly, it could have went either way. A, there's a lot of crimes he committed. B, I don't know if anybody would have believed the Jedi.
That is true.
I mean, he was getting to the point where they were all believing him, and then, like, we obviously see it happen. Like,
exactly how Mace Windu reacted to finding out that Palpatine was Sidious.
That's Mace Windu, and he wanted to believe it the whole time.
Even when the Galactic Senate finds out, no one cares.
Because he
made
them all believe that the Jedi were the problem.
And that's the thing is, like, there's so many people that live in the Galactic Empire, that, like, they believed in Palpatine in becoming Sidious so much that a lot of people didn't even know that he was a Sith Lord and never did. Like, that's how he never, like, outed himself to the public.
Right.
It's yeah. His cover-ups are insane.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
mean,
just
dude.
a sort of a force thing?
I mean, no, he
You're
just
yeah.
That was like politician.
I mean, it's physical proof that you are. He never showed physical proof that he was a Sith Lord. So
I mean, he literally says the attempt on my life left me scarred. Like, it made him look the way he looked was the attempt on his life from the Jedi. Like, I mean, just talking as a person, he convinced everybody, let alone anything else he could do.
But that's also why he didn't
force-ability-wise.
show his face, because clearly by looking at his face, like, you would know it wasn't an attempt by the Jedi, because you can see by the way he looks what would a Jedi have been able to do that would have caused that damage.
I mean, but by that point, people didn't believe in the Jedi. I mean, we see it throughout the Clone Wars that people don't believe in the Jedi then.
That's the thing, is like some planets still do. The problem with the Jedi is that I'm not going to compare what I would compare them to, but they have this thing where, like, some people believe in them if they helped them, but Jedi also left a bad body trail. Even if they did, quote unquote, liberate a planet, so many people died that they were like, okay, cool, you liberated us, but a lot of us still died, so you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
They want the Jedi to be these magical creatures, which they are, but, like, and this is where Anakin comes into play. Where it's like, I want to save everybody, and you can't. And some worlds, even in the Clone Wars, they explain that. It's like, well, my whole family's dead, so you didn't really help me that much. Like, I might be free, but why would that matter now?
Sounds like a personal problem.
Well,
Back to the story, what's your thought process of Anakin turning and then immediately stepping back, being like, what did I just do? Like, what are you thinking as a first-time viewer?
what have I done?
Yeah, what are you thinking as a first-time viewer?
Makes me think of Linkin Park.
I don't know. To me, it just felt like he was a human. Like, he just had a human emotion of, like, I mean, we all do shit that's like, you do it without thinking, and then you do it, and you're like, why the fuck did I do that? That's stupid. So I just, obviously.
Do you think that he did what he did and then he almost felt like he had to roll with it after that?
Well, yeah, because he's trying to save Padme, and that's what he thinks is gonna save Padme.
I mean, that, and then, like, I think more what he meant was like, hey, dude, I already killed Mace Windu. What happens when people find out I killed Mace Windu?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think of
Like,
that.
what the fuck is Yoda gonna do to me?
You know what's weird, too, is, like, so, like, Obi-Wan never addresses that he killed Mace Windu. Like, he killed a lot of Jedi, which I guess, like, I get, but, like, at the same time, like, Mace Windu is such a big figure that I feel like there could even have been a part where Obi-Wan addresses that Anakin killed Mace Windu.
To who?
To Anakin during their
okay.
Mustafar fight.
All right.
I mean, they talk a lot more in the book than they do.
Never about Mace Windu, though.
No, but they talk a lot more in the book and the
Well, I mean,
novelization.
I think Obi-Wan was sort of on Anakin's side against Mace Windu, like, at a certain point, like.
I mean, to a degree. I mean, yeah, he
Yeah.
says that he didn't want him to have to go through the mission that he went through to spy on Sidious and stuff like that. Like,
And when
he's
they're
like,
when they're in that thing traveling, he's like, he's the chosen one, isn't he? Like, because they were like, that was when they were skeptical of him.
and then he was like, he will not let me down. He never has. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, as much as he, like, I don't even know how I want to say that.
That's how blinded by love that Obi-Wan was.
Yeah. Actually, I just read something this morning that was like Obi-Wan realized he formed such an attachment to Anakin during the fight on Mustafar that he was blinded by a lot of the stuff
I sent
that
you
happened.
that.
Did you send it to me? I was like,
I know I read that. Oh, yeah, I sent it to you.
But yeah, I mean, he was so blinded because he realized he formed an attachment, and that blinded him from a lot of bad things Anakin has done.
Yeah.
Because when you watch the
How
Clone
many
Wars,
people has he seen Anakin kill?
I mean, when you watch the Clone Wars, he kills people, and it's like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Kill count, man. Gotta get my dog tags.
Got the greatest Katie in the universe.
dude, his KD is crazy.
I mean, canon wise, I mean, yeah.
That always makes me like that just made me think of that scene where Anakin and Ahsoka used to play a game for how many battle droids they destroyed.
And I had 44. Well, I had 47, Master.
And then my favorite part of that whole scene is
Ki-Adi-Mundi.
like they're tending to the wound, and Ki-Adi-Mundi's like 61, and he's like, Master, and he's like, I got 61. So what do I win? And Anakin's like, my everlasting respect, and Ki-Adi-Mundi's like, oh, I don't give a fuck.
That is a funny.
That's probably the most personality we get from Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Oh yeah.
In the entirety of Star Wars.
It's not even close. Like, that actually makes Ki-Adi-Mundi seem like a person and
He's
not a
so
piece of
likable.
shit.
He's so likable in the Clone Wars and so hateable in live action.
Yeah.
Like, he might be my, like, the Jedi I hate the most on the Council in live action.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, anyways, after that, we execute Order 66. How'd you
Execute Order 66.
I mean, how'd you feel in the moment where you're just watching Jedi after Jedi after Jedi just die?
Sadly, it caught me off guard that it was gonna happen. I mean, I feel kind of stupid after.
Oh, so you didn't know what Order 66 was?
No idea.
So, okay. This is awesome. Okay. This is not awesome, but this is awesome. I've always wanted to ask somebody. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not like a specific question. So, like, okay. So, Anakin happens. He then basically knights Anakin as a Sith Lord.
Right.
Then he contacts Commander Cody and a bunch of all these other commanders and captains and so forth, and tells them to execute Order 66. Immediately, did you have you had no idea what that was?
I mean, if I did, it was like this. Like, okay, it shocked me. If this is where you're going with this, it shocked me whenever all the clones turned, and I was like, holy fuck, like that's just like the longest setup of like a turn in the history of the world.
Oh, you're gonna love the Clone Wars, dude.
What's the first Order 66? It's Obi-Wan's, right?
Obi-Wan is, yeah.
So like when you see so he goes, I forget exactly what he says, but he's like, all right, and he points, and you see Obi-Wan riding that Varactyl, and then they just launch a cannon at him. What were you like? What the fuck?
Actually,
what was your reaction to that initially?
Me watching his reaction, he didn't say anything, which I was kind of like, is he paying attention or like what? And I don't know, like
shell shocked.
Both. I mean, like, whenever I watch a scene, I'm one of those people, and I've seen
right, sir.
I've seen jokes about it all the time, where people are like, me watching Revenge of the Sith for the 110th time, being like, hoping Order 66 doesn't happen, and then I just watch it, and every time I'm quiet, and I'm just watching this, like, damn.
You know what's crazy? Like, okay, so Obi-Wan's is like bad. Like, he launches a fucking rocket at him, and then like, I don't know the order exactly, but I'm just gonna jump from Jedi's. So then we see Ki-Adi-Mundi on the bridge. That scene is fucked. He literally is like,
yeah,
onward.
Yeah,
and they're just like,
fuck you.
Sup. And then obviously like Plo Koon's is probably the least sad in a way, just because he realized what was happening, but it's kind of like you don't get a good emotion from him in that.
I mean, you don't really see much.
Now, the worst one is Ala Secura.
The blue girl.
They're in the jungle with the walkers. Dude,
they shoot her.
They shoot her and then body shot her like call of fucking. They might as well have teabagged her in the movie too. Like I was literally like they blast her a couple times, and he's just like doof 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 into her. Like I was like, she's good. Like she's gone. Like
thousands.
She's
of
not
rounds.
coming back. I was like, holy shit! And then
thousands of rounds into her.
And then you see like Yoda's. And he's like, that scene with Yoda is so sad because Yoda, that cloud in Yoda's head, like it's almost like a cartoonish thing where it's like there's the clouds and all of a sudden like, and you can just see the sun rays, and Yoda immediately is like the cloud is gone, everything's open,
right.
The egg has cracked, right there.
He knows. And it's like, dude, like I said, every time I watch it, I just sit there and I'm just like, damn. Like they couldn't see this coming. Like it's crazy. And like, dude, it's just countless. And then I was telling him, gave a little bit of spoilers for him, but I was like starting in, I don't remember what year, but Disney, for like 4 to 6 years in a row, we just got a new fucking Order 66 scene, and we're just sitting here watching these shows, and we're like, why do we need to see more?
Someone needs to montage those together.
I think somebody has. You probably could find it somewhere. I'm sure somebody has, where it just shows all of the Order 66 deaths. Like, it's crazy.
Enough to make a grown man cry.
Yeah. I mean, it's just nonstop, and it's like, dude, like, there's thousands of Jedi that they could cover to kill. To just have another scene every year.
I mean, they've even done one in a game.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then, I mean, so that happens, and then, obviously, like, Yoda can handle himself. It's Yoda. All these other Jedi are just, yeah.
Well, Yoda was in the
Have
5th
fun.
and 6th movies, so, you know. I'm just
No, I just mean, like,
I know.
he's the only one that, like, cleared their mind quick enough because he was, like, one of the last ones to get the order at his base.
Well, I don't think that's why he cleared it. His mind got cleared in that time. I think it's mainly because, like, so you know how he talks about clouded, the dark side makes us think and shit like that. I think once Sidious, like, reveals himself and then the shit happens, like, he just, that cloud, like you said, the cloud that he had, actually, when he talks about it, it was finally gone. He sees the Sith, he sees this, he sees it all. He finally can see it all, and he's the one guy that's gonna see it all. But also, like, when we watch the movie, we see Order 66 happen in a linear line where it's like, oh, this happened, and then you're almost like he makes this call, and then he makes this. I don't think that's how it worked. I think he kind of just sent a message out to everybody at the same time, and we just see it, like, happening.
I mean,
I'm assuming that's how it happens, because I think it'd be really weird.
It can't be all at the same time. Because Yoda feels the deaths. Boom, 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 boom. You can't make a fucking galactic message all at once.
Well, that's a fucking hell of a mistake by fucking Sidious if he didn't fucking contact that one first.
Well, he shouldn't know where he's at.
But he does from the council and from Anakin.
Anakin never told him where he was. He knew where his troops were.
No, because he goes...
Yeah, then he would have contacted Yoda
No,
first.
because Sidious tells him that Anakin should have been sent on that mission. Because he tells him he should have been sent on every mission.
It definitely is delayed. Maybe
I guess I see what you're
off of
saying.
how far the system was.
Maybe. But also he could have felt...
That doesn't make sense either, because Utapau would have been way far out.
I also just think... I think it's wrong anyways. I think we're both thinking about this wrong. Because it could have just all happened at once. And the reason why Yoda actually won, because he felt Mace Windu die. None of the other people felt Mace Windu die. That would make the most sense to me. That Yoda would be the one.
No, because when they show the scene where he's dropping his cane, and we've already seen tons of people die, and then we see the trooper get the message. It has to be delayed.
I know what you're trying to say, but at the same time, he could have dropped that cane when Mace Windu died, and then we just see all the other scenes line up when they line up, and it just looks like what you're trying to say. I see what you're saying.
Either way, this wasn't the point of what I started. You completely just...
I
was going to ask him his opinion about what Yoda did when he figured out, like, he was getting ready to get shot at.
I would have assumed it was all at the same time, and it was just Yoda was showed purposely last because of the fact that he's surviving. He's gonna he's gonna get himself out of it.
Yeah, it would have sucked if we saw all these Jedi die and then and in the middle of it saw Yoda survive.
I don't know, just based off the music, that doesn't, like, he had to have known all these Jedi were dying before.
I don't know.
The number, like, that clone gets the order.
I mean, like I said though, he could have just felt Mace Windu die first, and then everything else happened.
I think he was feeling all of it at, like, boom and then boom and boom in his mind of the different Jedi.
I don't know.
I don't feel like...
I mean, that's also a theory. We don't have an answer.
When he drops that, he kind of, like, is grabbing his head, and the Wookiees come to comfort him. Like, that's way too much time.
I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, we don't know.
I get what you mean, for sure. Like, I get, like, the confusion. I just didn't think of it like that until you said it, so...
I mean... Yeah, we don't actually have an answer for that.
I do 100%. Like, it's for the movie. They showed him last on purpose. They're showing the big guy last. Well,
I think it's funny. I think it's funny they show Obi-Wan first, and it's like they make it look like he could have died from that. Because, like, dude, like a normal person dropping that far, hitting water's dying. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, you
on the Scottish
I mean,
dive team.
you watch that scene and you're almost like, damn, did they actually kill Obi-Wan? Like,
You probably hit the water. Was like, hello there.
like there's a fish down here. Hello there. But yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I still watch it to this day. I've seen this movie hundreds of times, and I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, damn, my heart sinks every time. Like, it's upsetting. And I know you don't have a connection to Star Wars like what we have, but like in the moment, did you like feel anything for it? Serious, like a serious question, not like, oh, I'm just watching a movie and people died. Did you like actually feel it?
I think I did. I just think it was more of a harder feeling in like 10 minutes. You know, like what happened after that is kind of just like.
I mean, it gets worse. It just keeps
Right.
going and it's
So,
worse.
Like, obviously, I guess fast forward, but like when Anakin and Obi-Wan fight each other, like that was something that blew it out of the water.
Well, yeah. But
They start with Obi-Wan because they end with Obi-Wan.
and they do end with Obi-Wan because they show him get out of the water, but
They shoot Obi-Wan first because he has to be the last battle against Anakin. They want to show time passing. Okay.
that's funny.
I mean, I agree with that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just funny.
Because he has to
I don't know if
get
you
off
got
Utapau.
off of the internet.
He has
so
to
it's
get
really
all the way to Coruscant to meet up with Yoda, who came from Kashyyyk. They have to go to the temple, and then he has to, where they split to go to their two fights. It's clearly not like Kiadi-Mundi's, where they're on a planet that it's like dark and gloomy, and it's already like nighttime and shit.
So after that, we get to see them go meet up and then go back to Coruscant to change the message for the Jedi to come to the temple. And we have other Star Wars content that tells us the message, what Obi-Wan says, and it's fucking sad. So I don't want to say it. I'm going to have you watch it whenever we get there, but like we get to hear what he changes the message to for the other Jedi, and it's really fucking sad. But how'd you feel when they land on Coruscant? They just fucking start killing all these fucking clones. Like, no question about it. Like, they're all dead. Dead.
No, so like I think
It's war, man.
you haven't seen it, and I don't want to spoil too much, but like there's a side-by-side view of like how Ahsoka handles Order 66.
Yeah.
And they like make like a little like, oh, she's like doing this, and then they just like they cut to Yoda and Obi-Wan, and there's just Freebird in the background.
She's like, I don't want to kill any of them. And then meanwhile, Yoda
You see
and Obi-Wan
Yoda
are just...
fucking flick his lightsaber and just pull that shit back, and it's just I love how they put Freebird on that. It's just, it makes that fucking video.
Yeah,
Have you
it's
seen
funny.
that one?
Yeah. It's funny.
I mean, it's
mean,
not, but it is.
It is funny, but it's like... Yeah, she's like, I'm not going to kill any of them.
But honestly, I think with what he had asked you, with what you felt in that moment, I think the weight of the score is what makes you get that like inner like funny feeling down like your chest. With
In your heart.
but
in my broken fucking heart
I
watching
mean,
Order
yeah,
66.
but you kind of have like that shiver go through your body, and that weight
Also,
pressing.
also the music is just crazy during
That's
everything.
what a score is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's what I was talking about. The score.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I
Wait.
didn't catch that either, but I do get that now.
The music.
What did you think I meant by score?
I kind
Like
of, not going to lie.
Like Sidious's score against everyone else.
Not going to lie, you were talking and I was trying to figure out what we were moving to after this in my head.
So I'll repeat. The score, and when you were talking about the sadness that he felt for it, I'm like, no, the score is what makes that scene.
No, I get you. Yeah, I was just trying to plan out the next scene
Yo,
in
and
my
then
head.
the music, like the music is so like he does such a good job. See, people, this is what I deal with.
I mean, it was definitely a sad feeling. It wasn't that I was like. 'Cause
I mean, no, I get what you're saying. You're just trying to move forward with the more sad stuff we're about to see. I mean,
Well, right in the moment, I was like, okay, this is the saddest part I've ever seen in a fucking movie. And then like
so I was
5
gonna-
minutes later, it's
I was
like,
going to ask, did you were like, okay, it's over?
yeah, I guess, because I mean, I didn't know that they were.
And
Yeah.
I mean,
I
at
just
some
thought-
point,
I
at
just
some
thought
point,
eventually they would come back and fight each other or something. And
I mean, at some point, you're like, oh yeah, thank God it's over. Like I
Yeah,
don't have to watch
you
it
hit-
anymore.
You hit Paul's button. It says 42 minutes left. You're like, fuck.
You're like, damn, what the hell else is gonna happen in this movie? We just had watched every Jedi die. Like, what's next?
And then the first time we watched it, I still didn't know that fucking Anakin turned into Darth Vader. So I was like, I didn't know that, like...
Dude, it was crazy.
I didn't put into my head of, like, obviously something has to happen, because I know Darth Vader's all fucked up, like, on the side, like...
You were like, why does
I knew
Anakin
that.
get into this suit?
Right. But,
Like,
like,
who the fuck is Darth Vader? Like, who's fucked up enough to look like Darth Vader?
right. So I just didn't know that that's how it culminated into him becoming Darth Vader.
Yeah, it was really funny. Like, so the scene where he realized that Anakin Skywalker was Luke Skywalker's dad didn't hit him until he wits at Mace Windu and was like, I think Chancellor Palpatine's a Sith Lord. That was the scene that hit him. He was like, for your own good, stay out of this, young Skywalker. And he was like, oh shit, that's Luke's dad.
What I thought, so they call them Padawans and shit like that.
Yeah.
I thought Skywalker was like another tier of what you could be in like the ranking. So when it was like young Skywalker, I was like, oh, okay, that's just like a ranking under Master or a ranking under Knight or something like that.
Yo, honestly, that's awesome.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yo, I'm not gonna say like a normal person. If they said that, I'd probably have some words with them. But like the fact that like his name is out there, like it's literally Skywalker, like that. Like I never even like you were just explaining that, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, we know that that's false though, because in the first movie they literally say his name's Skywalker.
Young Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, over and over and over again. Yeah, it was so. Listen, it
reasons
was so funny watching it with him the first time, because once he realized just the look in his face was like, oh shit, something's about to happen, and then Order 66 happens, everybody fucking dies.
I mean, I will say with Order 66, like, I mean, that is a lot to compile. And like just bang, 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 and then all of a sudden, like, you're like, okay, it might be over. Anakin storms the temple, because we skipped that part.
Yeah.
Kills everything.
Everything is the correct word.
Oh yeah, we forgot about the kids too.
Oh my god, okay. So he storms the temple and they're just blasting away, and he's just a fucking menace. But he gets up to the council chamber, and I mean, this little kid
Who looks just like him as a younger Anakin, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said that watching it. You were like, damn, that looks like young Anakin. I was like, that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was done on purpose to be like, yeah, this is Anakin killing himself. Like, this is the last version of him, and he's gone now.
I couldn't imagine like seeing that shit
YouTube probably
happen
won't like it
for the
either.
first time
in
theaters, and then like that scene happens, and he's like, Master Skywalker, there's too many of them. What are we going to do? I just can't imagine people like in the theaters, and they pan to Anakin, and he's just like, and you just see, I would have been like, the gasp in that movie theater had to have been insane.
You've never seen like a recording of the movie theater, like first time viewers?
That's illegal.
I've seen it. Have you seen it though?
No, I haven't.
I've actually seen it for
I
Revenge of the
actually
Sith.
kinda wanna watch that.
It is like a gasp. Everybody's like, "Oh shit!"
Oh, and dude, I think what's even crazier is that even George was like, this scene, we need to make this scene because it makes him that like much more.
Yeah.
But we're like, we're not gonna show it to him because like they're gonna show us. I think they're gonna show us that scene eventually.
I mean,
This is not part of this Vader R-rated movie. We need a flashback scene of him in the Bacta tank and he's remembering Order 66.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Sorry. I want to see him demolish these kids.
I mean,
I
that
would see
would.
him dunk on these motherfuckers.
Rim grazer.
Between the legs.
I mean, yeah. I feel like it would be like.
How do you?
I feel like
Crazy. How do you think he goes about it? This is like the ultimate. Like if you were in a bathroom stall and there's how many fifth graders could you fucking do? Bam, bam, bam.
Dead. How do you think he remembers it?
No.
Oh.
What do you think he did? Because he wipes those kids. What do you think he did? Like that first kid, boom. Does he just instantly just like through the chest?
Do you think the kids even try and fight back?
they're not. They
So
don't
you're
have
asking me,
lightsabers.
how do I think he kills them? That's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Me. Okay.
How do you think he goes about it? Do you think?
I
We're
think-
not actually. I take it back.
Rated R podcast.
Yep, I'm taking it back. We're not talking about this. 'Cause I literally was just like, do you think they like tried to run around the room?
I think you thought of the rest of that Family Guy.
Dude, I'm not kidding. That's the hardest I've ever heard him laugh. Do you think they're just running around? Yo, I'm crying.
I've never seen him laugh like that either.
I've known him 20 years. He's never like, he is fucking crying. I've never heard him laugh like that. Yeah, I know. Ugh. Are you okay?
Was that just full on just the laugh, or did you like cough or something?
Do you think they just ran around the room? Okay, that's fucked up. I was trying to ask like a serious question. Like it's not, but it is.
I can't wait to flip this.
Yeah, we're gonna get canceled.
I can't stop.
He hit a new octave while laughing.
Oh my god. I'm like in a dripping sweat.
We still have 50 minutes to talk about this movie.
Yeah, we're not even close to being done with this movie. How much time are we at, Eli?
Holy shit. Alright, we gotta get going. Okay.
We gonna
I mean, do you-
Nope, we're done. Done with that. We're done.
I actually have an idea. We can talk about it off camera. Well, how I think he did it.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, well, I'm just off camera. I want to tell you how I think he did it.
You just save it for another pod. You could just save it for another episode.
Yeah.
Just save it.
Fan theory. How did he kill the younglings?
Oh my god.
First of all, they start out by spreading out evenly, and then they just started running around the room. And
I mean,
they're
technically, he could have been like, line up.
that would have been
Jesus,
nuts.
that's dark
That's
as fuck.
crazy.
We're talking about
Yeah.
guys killing kids.
I'm just saying. Yeah, there's nicer ways.
I mean,
to
I
do
might
that.
as well just say it then.
There's a nicer way to kill a kid. What is it?
I feel... Okay, do you want me to tell you how I think he did
No, we're done. We got to talk about the rest of this episode. We're at 110. Okay, so Obi-Wan and Yoda are talking, and they're deciding on who goes to who. And Obi-Wan basically is like, I can't do it. I'm not gonna fight him.
Dude, Obi-Wan is him. Motherfucker's like, send me to kill the Emperor. What the hell?
Honestly, I would love to see that fight. I
I
don't
mean-
think he lives,
Oh,
but
no.
like that would have been an
It's
awesome
fucking nuts, though. He's like, I don't give a shit. Send me to kill him. What? The balls. The balls.
fight. Do you
It's
think
crazy.
Yoda would have killed Anakin?
Like, do you
I
think
don't
it-
know.
are you asking if he could take Anakin, or like if given the chance?
If he went to Mustafar, does Yoda win?
I don't know. Because
Because
I mean,
he
Obi-Wan
you want to say...
I think Anakin wins because I think Yoda is getting off that ship, guns blazing. Anakin doesn't have to think about anything.
Right, because
I'm killing that.
Because
motherfucker.
when he's with Obi-Wan, he's conflicted still. That's like the whole thing going on with their fight is he's so conflicted with it being Obi-Wan, being his master, his brother's supposed to be his father figure. Like, this is who this guy is. Yoda, on the other hand, hell no. He would fucking be like, oh, I'm fucking killing this motherfucker before Yoda can even think about talking to him. Like, you know what I mean? Because Yoda would probably want to try to talk to
That
him.
would be an awful like, like from a movie standpoint. That I feel like Yoda trying to talk in like a deep conversation with Anakin in that moment, where Anakin's like completely losing his mind and like
No, I
Yoda
mean-
talking backwards in the whole scene.
I
would
know
be, like-
exactly how that would go. He would get off, and Anakin would instantly be like, "They sent you? That's the only person they think that could kill me is you." And basically Yoda instantly would be like, "Fallen, you have."
Yeah,
and then he
I
triple front
honestly...
flips into the fucking-
I
Yeah,
mean,
oh, he
I don't-
starts that fight. He starts that fight insane.
I
dude.
don't think he does because I think Anakin makes the first move and catches him off guard.
No, well, I
think that's
I think
100%
it's I
how
think
it
it's an
goes.
instant running at each other.
Do you think Yoda goes and gets Padme?
I don't think Yoda wins. I mean, this may be a hot take.
Well, the whole point.
This
of,
may be a
the
hot-
whole point of Anakin even starting to fight with Obi-Wan is because, like, in the movie, it's just like he thinks that he turned Padme against him, which angers him even more. To where, like, if you think if
But-
Padme wasn't there, that, like...
But that's why he loses.
Why, who loses?
Because
Sorry, I forget.
Anakin
Anakin
starts to
loses.
realize that Padme did turn on him, and it's not because of Obi-Wan. He says that to try to trick his own mind, to justify himself.
Yeah.
But he slowly realizes that he is the problem.
Yeah. But back to the Yoda thing. I don't know if this is a hot take. I think Anakin wins the fight.
I don't think it's a hot take. I think Anakin. I
mean, dude, we have a lot of hot
think
takes that shouldn't be hot
Anakin.
takes.
I think Anakin versus Yoda. I think Yoda beats him. I think
Nightfall Vader.
Vader versus Vader versus Yoda on Mustafar. Anakin would have won that fight.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
fully believe that too.
I feel like
Yeah, are we talking
Okay,
about Vader now?
it also
I mean,
depends.
he's Vader, yeah.
Obi-Wan went about that fight in the perfect way.
Yeah.
He didn't know where he was. He knew how to get to him, and Obi-Wan uses Padme against him.
Yeah.
And in the sense that Obi-Wan thought that he could get Anakin to stop,
Right.
which is not what happened.
Clearly.
Which is why Anakin tries to justify to himself that he's in the right.
Right.
And then realizes he's in the wrong. And now that he knows that he's in the wrong, I mean,
Well, right. I mean, that's why he...
there can't be witnesses.
I mean, that's why he hates him so much. That's part of the reason why he hates him so much is that he's like, man, fuck this dude. He's right. He shouldn't be right now. I should be right now. And he has no idea what happened to Padme. Padme could be dead at this point. I mean, he thinks she's still alive, but yeah. So we get to see the craziest lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars. Like, how do you feel about them fighting in the
when it comes to an action scene,
I wasn't
might
asking
be
you.
the best ever.
I mean, so what I was going to say
Maybe
is like...
other than the beginning of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that's CGI. Like, I mean,
Oh,
the actual
right, okay.
hand-to-hand, two people doing something. That's probably the best action scene.
I mean, so yeah, I was gonna ask, how do you feel about like one, the choreography? I think's flawless, which is what he's saying, and then at the same time, they're just punching and kicking the shit out of each other during this fight too. Like this is a personal fight
Yeah.
between the two of them.
How do I feel? I mean, it was just like to me it's like, okay, everything is leading up to this point, so like obviously yes, that makes it extremely personal because they have this history against each other. It's not just like it's not like when like Obi-Wan fought Darth Maul where it's just like this is my a random enemy that I have to kill. It's like
So in the
you're
novel,
going-
not to cut you off, but in the novelization, it cuts off from the story where it has like a moment inside the person's head where they're thinking, and it's Obi-Wan, and he's like, I just got chills thinking about it. He's like, I'm looking at Anakin Skywalker, and it's not Anakin Skywalker anymore. This is not my friend. This is not my brother. This is not the person that I know. He's completely gone now.
And this is
Well,
the
he says that in the
bipolarism.
movie, right? Because he's like, only Sith Lords deal in absolutes. So then he's like, I have to do what I have to do.
Yeah, but
You were so close to getting that right.
Yeah, but I mean,
everything you mixed up a word in everything that you said.
Yeah.
It was like it's so close.
I mean, he thinks that during the fight, actually, before like the beginning. I see what you're saying.
They
but yeah,
they also like they
it's
get
almost like he doesn't want to believe it at the beginning of the fight, and then once they reach a certain point, he's 100% like, this is not Anakin at all anymore.
I mean, not even just that. Like it's a weird thing in the middle of the fight where they kind of both don't know why they're doing what they're doing. Like, there's this weird standstill where they were like, they kind of like are like, is this necessary? What are we doing? And then like immediately they like both jump back into, well, okay, that's not Anakin anymore. I need to kill this guy because he's keeping me away from my wife living.
Right.
But like there is those like points during the fight where they stop and they like they're reflecting in the milliseconds of time using the Force that they're like, we're fighting. Why are we fighting? We need to fight. Why are we fighting? We're fighting.
So I had a question for you. So we have this scene where they're swinging their lightsabers and they're just not touching each other. What did you think watching that?
My buzzer isn't working.
Did you think it looked stupid? Did you feel like there was a purpose? I mean, if you have something to say, go ahead and say it.
I think this part of the scene, choreography, whatever, I don't know whose idea this was, but I think it's fucking genius. So they're in that scene, and do you know the scene he's referencing? Okay, they do that thing where they swing and they both do the exact same move, and they basically is like a stoppage of fighting.
Right.
I think that is such a beautiful scene, and the reason why is because you see just how alike that they are because of how close they are. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that was.
That was like a fucking bubble, dude. That was weird. I don't know where it came from. Did that come from you?
I don't know. I just like saw something like
there's like a little bubble or something.
Anyway,
fucking like, weird.
Just in that moment, they're in that point of the fight, and like they both go to make a move, and they go, "Oh, I know how to defend this," and then they do the same move. And not only does that show the connection between the two characters, but it also allows the viewer of it to slow their eyes down. Because you're getting to the point where you're like, okay, dude, they're doing so much shit. You're looking left to right. You're seeing the blades just go in and out. They have the same color blade. You see the flowing of how they're doing things. And then you have this scene where everything on the screen stands still for once. And you get to actually go, okay, they're in this building. What are they wearing? What is their facial expressions? Like, you actually get to see like a moment of silence between the two characters in the biggest event in Star Wars history. And
deep as fuck.
I mean,
it's so
in a
beautiful. And then how they do it basically again, like right after that, when you see that they both go, okay, awesome. I'm gonna force push him. He's not gonna realize this, and they both do it at the same time, and you get that feeling again that it's just like, okay, I'm getting a slower scene again, but the intensity of what they're doing.
Right.
It's literally it shows the light and the dark side pushing each other, and then it shows you exactly what happens when something's balanced. They stay together and then they fly back at the same time.
Well, also I love that scene specifically. When you watch the Force push, you actually get to see Anakin being stronger than Obi-Wan in the Force, because when you watch it, Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan's hands start to go backwards with Anakin's Force push being stronger than his. I mean, yeah, they're both going to like fly back because, I mean, you did both push. Like, Obi-Wan probably pushed back further or harder than Anakin did, but that's why Anakin got up and jumped at him. Granted, he's enraged in the dark side, so I mean, that also helps him. But like, you get to visually see that. If you don't recognize that, go back and watch it. His hands go like this during that scene when he's force pushing his hand. And it's crazy. But also, with what you were saying about like that's super deep. That's why we do this. This is why I love Star Wars so much, because like on the surface level, you get to watch the movies and there's a story. It's a beautiful story. You'll get to see how it ends. But at the same time, like when you take everything else into consideration, you can get so deep with the story. And it's great.
Go
I mean,
I was gonna say something else.
I mean, it's crazy, and that's why I love this so much, because you can get that deep and that personal with it.
Yeah.
Another scene too is when they're on like the bridge area, and they both catch each other at the top, and it slows that because what people don't realize is that like that scene is not altered. They're moving that fast, which obviously like there really isn't lava, but like. That scene, like, they're moving, and then you see them, like, catch each other, and they're holding each other. It's when they're, like, pushing each other back and forth, and they get to slow it down again, and then with the music and then the way the lava is going, there's a reason that image is captured in so many things in Star Wars, because it's just the ability to slow down a fight that is going so fast using, like, realism. You're not actually, like... It's not like someone's running supersonic speed and they're slowing. They're like running in slow motion. Like the scenes aren't in slow motion, but they're slowing a fight down, like literally physically slowing the fight down. And it just makes you reflect. they're so in tune to the Force and fighting that they don't give a fuck that there is a lava water spout throwing lava and magma everywhere at them. It's hitting their clothes. It's hitting the floor. They're like, it's just like, yeah, you just see where the Force, you can see the Force itself and it trying to balance itself. And I ultimately, like, that's where we get, I mean, I'll talk about this a little bit more, where we get to the end of this fight where you keep seeing it. But so, like, that scene happens. I don't remember where we were at.
I don't either, but I remember we skipped over a very crucial part before this fight.
We're jumping.
I'd rather jump back to this now before we finish the fight. On
Talking about R2-D2?
Well, I mean,
That's what I was thinking about.
We can start there. So when he gets to Mustafar...
he doesn't understand that scene yet. We should wait a couple episodes and talk about that.
Yeah, we could wait until he says it in the other movie. Anyway, so before the fight and before everyone gets there, after he killed everybody, we get to see him out on the balcony, and his Sith yellow eyes are gone, and he's crying. Well, that's a crucial part of the movie. We just completely fucking skipped over. Did you understand why he was crying in that scene?
I mean, you don't have to, like, you could just say, like, a normal answer.
I mean, I would have I probably just assumed that he came down from, like, I don't know if, I guess, like, maybe he didn't, like, in my mind, he didn't fully change yet, and he's just, like, in the midst of going through this, or...
He's, like, adrenaline high is down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how you feel about this. I know we both have read the novelization. Reading the novelization almost makes it seem like Anakin to Darth Vader is a split personality disorder. They almost heavily imply, like, he can't control it when he's Darth Vader. And you get to see him do all the things that he does when he kills Gunray and stuff like that. He kills all them. And you get to see his Sith yellow eyes. He's gone. He's Vader. He doesn't give a shit. The guy tried to talk to him and be like, the war's over. Lord Sidious promised us peace.
That's another scene when that happens where they, like, turn him and he's, like, eye shot with the camera and you can see him. Dude, like, it's so the camera work in this movie is so underrated. Yeah. Especially, like, all of the scenes on Mustafar are so underrated. You get to see, like, the abilities of George Lucas and how they're filming.
It was a bit overwhelming. I'm not gonna, like, you guys are, like, deep diving into fucking, like, I feel like I'm sitting in, like, a seminar or something.
You're supposed to be overwhelmed.
Well, right, but then you, like, fucking go off on a...
I mean,
I was, like, almost crying.
You honestly,
like, what the fuck?
You should re-watch when he lands on Mustafar and watch it in 0.5 or 0.75. And just watch through the rest of the movie like that. Okay. And just really look at other things that's happening.
But anyways, that scene is... It kind of shows the split personality thing where it's like he's Anakin at this point. He's crying, obviously.
He's
like,
just Jekyll and Hyde.
He realized everything. He realized everything he did and all the bad he has done.
I mean, he's also thinking about, too, he realizes, like, he kind of gets that... I'm doing all this for Padme, but, like, is she actually gonna, like, want me after this?
Do you think that he's also thinking, like, what if, like, because we talked about it, how he has the Force visions of, like, do you think that he's like, maybe this is just inevitable and I'm actually contributing to this still? Or
I don't think
he's
he...
actually...
Yeah, he does, because he thinks it's always in his mind that it's like, well, I think if I do this, if I do the... And this is where Palpatine comes in. If I do the thing that is the right thing, that means the vision's gonna happen, because that's what I was told.
Okay, right.
Whereas he goes, I'm going out of my way to do this to where the vision doesn't happen, but that's not how that works.
Yeah.
Which obviously we can reflect and look at that. Right. He can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know what would have saved Anakin? If he would have meditated on Mustafar. But that goes back to what we were talking about. Anakin sucks and hates meditating.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wanted to get back to that. I thought that was a very crucial thing that we skipped over. We
also skipped the scene where Obi-Wan goes to Padme.
Yeah. I thought about it. That's when you were saying the music thing, and then that's what I was thinking about in my head to go to the next scene, and then I realized I skipped over it because then we started talking.
I mean, there's not too much. Like it's basically like.
Yeah, he's just.
He's trying. He's telling her. He's trying to find out where he is. She's scared that he's gonna kill her or kill him, and he finally completely just is like, Anakin's the father, isn't he? And it's like, damn.
Yeah, and like her only rebuttal to that is like, will you kill him? And he's like, I'm gonna do what I have to do. And it's like, fuck.
Anyways.
And then it's her fault that he gets there.
I mean, yeah.
You know what's crazy? He could have just thrown a tractor beam on it.
Yeah,
or a tractor puck.
Him being in the ship and behind Padme, looking down on the two of them talking, is a horrible look for either one of them. I mean, this literally looks so bad on her part, which is why Anakin gets pissed off.
Well, that's like, again, he said Obi-Wan did that purposely, probably. So, like, he put Padme in that position to go, because now he's gonna see. He just watched Anakin basically assault the person he loved the most.
That's what I was trying to say though, where Obi-Wan thought like, I'll go with her, and maybe if I do, he'll see the both of us, and it'll be okay.
Right.
He didn't try to do it in ill intention, but it became ill intention.
I mean, it looks very ill intentioned looking at it.
Yeah, when you think about it from Anakin's perspective.
Oh yeah,
if you think about it from Obi-Wan's perspective, it's not ill intention.
Well, right, but when we're going with the story, I mean, yeah, it was definitely from Anakin's perspective, and that's why things unraveled the way that they did.
Well, because that's the thing. That's the thing with Star Wars is like, and the reason they give us all these shots of Order 66 is because they want you to think about things not necessarily from Anakin's point of view.
Yeah.
Think about what Padme's going through in that scene.
Right.
She's falling back on herself because she's like, okay, that's not my husband. How the fuck did you get here? Holy fuck, he's going to hate me because he thinks that we're doing something. Like, you basically went up to Anakin with an intervention.
Yeah. After everybody's died and all this other shit that went down.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're basically at the scene where, in the middle of the fight, where they leave the room to go out to, like, what you were referring to with the shots and stuff. And we can basically get to the part where they are on, like, the big beam that's the big beam that's about to go over the waterfall. I don't know, like, I said it when we were watching it, especially the second time. Dude, when Anakin runs up that thing, it jumps over the waterfall basically to come back to continue the fight. Dude, when he twirls his lightsaber, in my head, if I see that coming at me, I'm like, fuck that. I'm done. I'm jumping in the lava, just ending it. Because, like, in my mind,
you thought
I'm going to die. Like, and honestly, like, I don't know. We've briefly, I mean, not briefly, but we've talked about this before. I think it's interesting because taking Legends into perspective in the Bane series, they talk about lightsaber combats. And according to the Bane series, just strictly off combat styles, Obi-Wan uses Form 3, which is defensive. Anakin uses Form 5, which is offensive. According to the Bane series, Form 3 should always beat Form 5 if they can last long enough in the fight. I don't know if this was done intentionally, but when we get to a point in the fight where right before Anakin jumps onto the same platform that Obi-Wan's on, where he's like, this is the end for you, my master, and then they have the scene right before the iconic scene, you kind of see Obi-Wan like grab his lightsaber with both of his hands and takes this huge deep breath. And I don't know if it was done intentionally. George Lucas does a lot of stuff intentionally. Personally, I think he did. And I think Obi-Wan was gassed during this fight.
I also think he baited Anakin.
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean,
even before he baits Anakin, he baited Anakin.
No, I don't think so. I honestly think...
Like, you mean he was faking being tired?
I don't.
Not necessarily that, but he's putting himself in a position to have an entourage of offense and then immediately backs out. And it makes it to where Anakin thinks that he is tired, more tired than what he is, that if he launches himself at him, Obi-Wan won't have the strength to defend it. And he does this on purpose because he baits Anakin into lunging at him and then backs away. So Anakin's going to be like, okay, I'm going to lunge at him again.
Yeah, I mean, no, I definitely see where you're
It's
coming from with it.
kind of like allowing someone to
Get ahead of them.
throw a haymaker,
Yeah.
but ducking and throwing like an uppercut to the
Yeah.
inside with your off dominant hand.
I like that you said that because that gives two different perspectives of the story. So you're looking at it that way. Personally, I look at it as Obi-Wan's fucking gassed. He's fucking done. Which is why I also do think he jumps onto the mountain. Where he's like, this is over, Anakin. I have the high ground. I honestly think at this point in the fight, Obi-Wan's done. He's gassed. Well, yeah, I know. I know you want to say it so bad.
By the way, Obi-Wan's the king of the low ground.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
I think this goes back into it. There's obviously the famous joke of the high ground.
Yeah.
I think Obi-Wan grabs high ground to bait people into getting the low ground. And here's why. There's multiple examples of him doing it. He has the low ground on Maul and baits Maul into thinking that he's going to fall or give up. He baits Grievous while having the low ground. And then he baits Anakin that he has the high ground. So, but the reason I mean he baits it is Anakin goes, okay, if he has the high ground, then he's going to win. What does Anakin try to do? I'm going to take the high ground from him. And guess what happens? Anakin's back on the low ground because he's sliding down the hill.
Well, I don't think he said, I don't think he thinks he wants the high ground. He wants to beat Obi-Wan the way Obi-Wan beat Maul.
Well, not even just that. Like,
I mean, it is.
if you
just
think
that.
about just fighting, Anakin's
yeah.
fighting style is fighting downwards.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
He wants to knock you into the ground, and he can't do that if he's on the low ground. He has to push Obi-Wan up, which gives Obi-Wan the advantage because everything that's a high strike is a normal strike. Anakin doesn't strike from under ever
You're not wrong.
because the way he strikes his lightsaber.
I mean, that also. I mean, yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, I really do think.
And if he does successfully jump over Obi-Wan, Anakin has another advantage because his entire fighting style is to push people down.
Yeah.
You're then pushing Obi-Wan into the lava.
Right.
Which then, if the only defense Obi-Wan has, being gassed, is to jump back into the lava.
I mean, I really do think at this point Obi-Wan is completely gassed in this fight. I really do think that. And he knows Anakin so well that he knows that Anakin was so obsessive when he was younger over how he defeated Darth Maul that he would study the holocron footage all the time. He would practice the move to be like Obi-Wan. And I mean, yeah, I think he was so gassed and it worked to his advantage being by that hill, to jump to that hill, to bait Anakin into doing what he did. And obviously Obi-Wan knowing how he did it, knowing how to defend it and everything, like he beats Anakin.
How did you feel when Obi-Wan said, "Don't try it," and Anakin tries it?
I mean, that goes back to what we're talking about.
well,
like,
I want
right.
not you. I asked him.
yeah.
What do you think?
So
Like, obviously you know what happens, but like, while that scene is happening, what were you thinking?
I think that, well, I'm assuming, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but do you think, like, it's Anakin fighting him or Vader fighting? Like, in the personality thing that we discussed, is he, like, in this blind rage now at this point?
I think kind of what he just explained, where he was in blind rage, and when he recollected the fight between Obi-Wan and Maul, he stuttered. His brain cut for a second because he had to remember him being Anakin.
You think that's why he lost? Because realistically, if
You see
if Anakin's as powerful as he should be, I feel like he should have been able to make the jump, right? Do you think that flicker of him remembering Anakin Skywalker, remembering the fight with Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, do you think that might have been the reason why he couldn't have made the jump?
It's a possibility. Also in the fact that Obi-Wan knows exactly what he's doing. And
I mean, yeah.
whereas when he had watched the fights previously, like you said, they don't attack Maul to kill Maul until he kills Qui-Gon. Anakin probably thought that Obi-Wan wouldn't attack him when he jumped over him. Anakin probably thought he would get the first swing.
I mean, he says it to Mace Windu. This is not the Jedi way. So maybe he tried to jump over him thinking like, oh, he's not going to make a move. He's not supposed to.
And even the move he makes is very unconditional, especially for his fighting style.
Well, that, and then also, like, it's forbidden by the Jedi to take more than one limb off of a person at a time. That's, like, a forbidden thing that they have. I can't remember what it's called, but, like, Anakin just might not even have thought that Obi-Wan could have even thought about doing what he did to Anakin. And then, dude.
That was my point of, like, basically that, of just, like, Anakin got really cocky, I think. And you had someone who was, like, who's obviously known you your whole life. Like, he's going to know the ins and outs of what you're thinking, what you're going to do. Like,
It's that blind rage that Anakin forgets who he's fighting.
right.
So
He looks at him as that's the Jedi who has been slowly screwing me over. Even though the entire time Obi-Wan's the guy who's had his back.
So, the rest of the scene and how it unfolds, even if you weren't a Star Wars fan, with what you've told us, I feel like you like the movies. You want to explore more Star Wars, so I'm going to label you as a Star Wars fan. Even as a non-Star Wars fan.
We have a pin for you.
Nice.
And we don't.
Even as a non-Star Wars fan watching this scene, the dialogue that Obi-Wan has for Anakin, is that just like gut-wrenching as hell?
You said that we would destroy the Sith, not join them.
I mean,
You hear the Scottish in that.
I was a Star Wars fan, like, before hearing that, so...
Yeah. But even from, like, a human perspective, like, somebody just...
Well, yeah, it's like, it wasn't like they were really close, so there's obviously more, like, it's if you guys were fucking fighting each other and you guys were talking to each other about that, like...
Or like that, not about that, just like that, like
right.
talking to each other.
Yeah, like, that means something more if it was just me and Eli. I wouldn't give a fuck, you know, like, sorry, but there's just, like, there's a closer connection between you two, so, like, it tugs the heartstrings a little more.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. Like, you should just die.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy, because, like, I feel like there's, like, a thought in Obi-Wan's head that's like, okay, if Anakin comes back, like, I can get him out of here. And Anakin kind of re-fucks himself over. Because then Obi-Wan's like, okay, I'm not going to help you then. If you don't want to be my brother, my friend.
Meaning, like, that's why he leaves him there, burning and shit? Okay, yeah.
I mean, he could have stopped that easily.
I mean, yeah, he could have prevented the whole thing.
But he also wanted to have Vader dead without it being at his hands.
Meaning he wanted Vader to die by burning instead of Obi-Wan going.
Obi-Wan doesn't want the final strike.
Okay.
Because
'cause
Obi-Wan doesn't believe that he lives.
Right.
Right. And, I mean, back to Obi-Wan not wanting to go fight Anakin, like, he doesn't want to be the reason why he dies. So he kind of just lets it happen to where he thinks that he dies. But, yeah. But the I hate you line, like, as much as it just seems like, oh, I hate you because of this and that, like, he also hates him because he didn't kill him. Yeah. He hated him. Well, I mean, he hated the fact that he left him, like, crippled. And he was like, make this honorable by just killing me. And he didn't do it. So that was also part of the reason why he says, I hate you.
Yeah, I mean, because the alternative is that Obi-Wan brings him in for questioning and he's tried for his crimes.
Yeah.
he doesn't want that. He would have to go against Anakin in trial.
Yeah.
And he would have just been like a starfish the rest of his life.
Starfish.
Anyway, so
I've never heard anyone explain
so we jump. Obi-Wan leaves. The Emperor comes and grabs Anakin, or Vader, takes him. We see the twins being born. Was that like an aha when you heard the names?
Well, at that point, he knew that Luke was going to come out, but he didn't realize what the second one was going to be either. He was like, "Who's the second one?"
Yeah, I mean, basically, I got everything of that. Like once Leia comes out, and they're like, "Oh, it's Leia." Then I was like, "Oh, okay, I know who Leia is," and then. Like, I knew the lore from Family Guy at that point of, like, what goes on between those two.
Yeah.
So.
So we get to see that. We get to see Padme die, like, in the vision, and Padme's like, there's still good in him. What do you think when she says that?
She's a dumb bitch.
Well, she didn't see what Obi-Wan saw. And Obi-Wan actually protected her from that. Mm-hmm. She died thinking that...
It was Anakin.
Anakin was alive.
Not Darth Vader.
All right, we need to get on a roll.
Well,
we still have some shit to talk about.
Not really.
Yeah, dude, we still have like 4 or 5 scenes to talk about. Okay, so then we jump to...
I mean, still same scene. It's going back and forth. We get to see the creation of Darth Vader. We get to see him being built.
Well, and
let's talk about that last.
And Luke also gets placed with Obi-Wan.
Okay, so let's talk about that first, and we'll talk about Vader next. Okay, so the end of the movie... Obi-Wan takes Luke back to Tatooine and goes with Owen and Brew. And then Bail Organa takes Leia. How did you feel about them, like, separating them?
To Tatooine.
I was more surprised that they didn't, like, think that Luke would be... Like, why would they send Luke to Tatooine? Like, I feel like... I get that they split them up, but I feel like Luke basically would have been, like... He would be a Jedi eventually. Like, you know what I mean?
So, well, one, the reason that Bail takes Leia is because he like, says it. He's like, me and my wife always wanted a girl. That instantly was why he went. Right. And...
I mean, it was great for her because you knew that she was going to have a good life. She was going to be raised by people that cared.
And Yoda knew that. And then he also knew that he... Quick thinking, and I mean, you obviously probably didn't realize, he was thinking about what is the best place to hide him.
Okay.
Where would he be the most undetectable?
Right.
Where would, if the off chance the Emperor and/or Anakin survives, what's a place that they would never go to?
And it's Tatooine.
Anakin's
Why would
homeworld.
Anakin go back to Tatooine where he was a slave and where his mother died?
Where his mother died.
He would never want to be reminded, A, that he was a slave, B, of his mother, and then the fact that he couldn't save his mother. He already thinks about that enough.
Right. Okay.
And that's also the place he met Padme. It's the place where he met Qui-Gon. That's the place where he met Obi-Wan. That's where they meet Maul. Like, there's so many things that are like,
don't go to that planet.
Why would I ever go back here?
Fuck that planet.
Surprised he doesn't just torch it.
Even though Star Wars goes back to that planet every fucking thing we get, it's just always back to Tatooine, and you're like, fuck this
But
fucking
that's the
planet.
beauty of going back to Tatooine.
I know, but it's like, dude, fuck this planet. It's just a fucking sand
The shittiest
dirtball.
planet in the galaxy is the planet we keep going to. But,
Yeah.
okay, so then we jump. We see Vader being built. So like they lay him on that table and you see him, he looks fucking disgusting. And you just see them start like attaching shit. What were you like thinking as they were doing that shit?
I just thought it was disgusting, honestly. Like, I don't know. I feel like I would have rather have just asked for like something to take me out for good. I wouldn't want to be Vader at all.
Well, I mean that's the thing. Like I think he thought that too.
I mean, he definitely did think that. Sidious wanted him to be like this on purpose, and like
Sidious didn't. Not even just that. Sidious didn't have a backup plan.
Right.
Sidious was kind of in a tough spot.
He didn't have a backup plan, but then he also realized with how miserable Anakin's life was going to be the rest of his life, it's just going to enrage him in the dark side to be exactly what he needs. So yeah, he didn't have a backup plan, but like at the same time,
It like helped him a little bit.
him becoming Vader made Palpatine's job a hell of a lot easier.
That's true. I could see that.
Yeah.
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 And then what did you feel about when they finally click his helmet in, and they like
You get to-
raise him?
You get to see the breath or
And-
hear the
and he-
breath the first time.
Yeah, you hear the.
It's funny because if you see Anakin in the scene, you see the red eyes that he has to see through as Vader. He looks terrified. And it was funny because Hayden Christensen was talking about this. They're like, when they were putting the helmet on me, low-key, I was scared. He was like, I was honestly terrified, like, not going to lie.
And so like they raise him up, and like I think the scene with Sidious in that scene is like so good. He's like, Vader, are you in there? Can you hear me? And he's just like, yes, my master. And what you don't know about that scene is he asked him, where's Padme? Is she safe? Is she alive? And he's like, it seems in your anger you killed her. And Vader instantly uses the Force to pick the Emperor up and slams him against the wall. And this is A deleted scene, and B in the novel. And he slams him against the wall.
Why would they delete that?
It takes away, I guess,
That Sidious is more powerful than him? Like,
kind of the sadness of Padme. It kind of takes away from her a little bit.
okay.
But, and so this is something that you also realize about Darth Vader's suit, and you'll see later on. It's very I can't say this fucking word.
Submissive.
No, susceptible. Got it. First try. It's just, nope, not done. Said it. To Force lightning. So Palpatine instantly hits him with Force lightning, which immediately tells Vader, I can't beat him. And like there's that instant reason of like what you're gonna realize the rest of the time is that Vader doesn't think he has a way out.
Right, he's trapped in it now.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's trapped. He can't beat Sidious.
His wife is dead. His kids died with her. I don't know if any Jedi survived that I care about. Obi-Wan's gone, and I don't know where he went.
And then also, like, the Force lightning is just going to completely take him out. He has no defense against Sidious whatsoever. That he has to do all of his biddings, no matter what.
So yeah, that kind of concludes. But
He's a slave again.
Oh, he was a slave his whole life, buddy.
Yeah.
He's a slave
Yeah.
when he's a slave. He's a slave.
Hey, you can't keep going. Hasn't gotten to some of these yet. But so basically, like, what was your overall thoughts of the movie? And then obviously, like, you have to give us the rating.
I mean, it was 100% the best one. I mean, it wasn't even close. And I mean, they were all good, but I mean, again, you get better visuals. Obviously, it's the best visual one out of the first 6. So, it was like there was just a shit ton going on, and like it's one of those things. Like, obviously, I think you guys said that like the original was probably 4 hours long or something like that.
Dude, it was long.
It was over 4 hours for the original cut.
Right.
Honestly,
now,
like-
I get like that's a movie that needs to be fucking Titanic level long of like that. Like, it could have fit that hour, like the 4 hours worth of time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I get why they cut it down, but at the same time, it's like
It easily could have been 4 hours, and it would have been entertaining the entire time.
right. That's my point. There you go. Thank you.
All right, so what's the rating?
So we have a...
9.5.
Damn!
Okay, we had an 8.5 for the first one. What was the second one? It was a 7.
Yeah, it was a 7.7 because it was 1977. That's why I thought it was funny. It was a 7.7.
7.7.
I think it was a 7.75 actually, but I changed it to a 7.7.
Now a 9.5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That was
yeah.
funny. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think this movie, like, even with not having the 4-hour cut, I think this movie's perfect.
That's one of those things I wish they just would have shoved an
Dude,
extra
like,
disc in it.
if this movie, if they ever were to release a 4-hour version of this movie, like 100% how it
Do you
was
think
supposed
it
to be.
exists? Like, does someone have that?
Well,
hard
the
drive?
problem is there's deleted scenes that they have that were just supposed to be in the movie. Some of them are finished.
They're
and some of
probably
them
not
aren't.
animated. Yeah, that's
Some of them
probably
are
part the
finished and
issue.
some of them aren't. So it's like, okay, so watching them, no, you can't just create the movie. They would have to go in and actually finish it. If this movie was the full 4-hour cut, this movie would be one of the best movies of all time.
Perfecto.
Like, I really do think that. But even like,
If George Lucas went in and finished it, it would have been great.
yeah, George. get off
And
your
Ray
ass.
is in here. No.
But yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I think it's perfect.
I mean,
Yeah.
9.5. Like,
I'd give it more than that, but
I mean,
not
there
your
is-
opinion.
There is some like what you said with like Padme talking
no movie's perfect.
No.
to Obi-Wan. It was weird and
9, 8, 9.
All right.
I love this movie.
So-
but
It's been another fucking long one. Yeah, it's been Mind Trick Media. See you guys.